Hey, hey, y'all. We love
Hello.
happy, wealthy, and worthy Wednesday. How
Hello.
is everyone doing today? How you ladies doing?
I am great.
Yeah, good. How you doing, Jay?
Doing great. Yeah, I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Doing good. Doing good. Can't complain. Trying to make sure all the things are happening for our live. Want to make sure I'm okay. Yep, we're good. We're good on Instagram. If you are tuning in live with us, please, please, please let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. We would love to shout you out, give you some love, and I'm really looking forward to you all engaging with us in today's discussion. So, listen, last week was a juicy one. Okay, last week we had lots and lots of discussion just around high performing women and how much we are experiencing burnout and how that result is not a result of a lack of resilience, but it's largely because of the environments that we are operating within. And in many cases, we are both highly visible and under supported. And so when we talk about those scenarios, right, we started to realize that there's a real cost to that. There's a real cost of having high visibility and low support. And so today we want to talk about another thing, right, that many high capacity women are quietly carrying, right? And this is the identity of being the strong one, right? Or you may have heard it be coined the reliable one, the dependable one, the capable one, the one who kind of keeps it all together and keeps everyone together, right? This person, their strength is often admired from a distance, right? But what they have learned in real time that you may not have actually be able to put language to is that strength without support actually becomes isolation. And isolation is actually your secret dream killer. So today, I want to invite you to be open to this conversation. I want you to reflect and think about some of the areas where maybe your capacity has slowly turned into an expectation or even a demand in some environment. Where has being the strong one become synonymous with also being alone? And I want you to be pondering in this discussion, what would it look like to experiencing support without having to prove that you deserve it? The real deal, y'all, is that being high capacity should not require high isolation. All right. And so we are going to talk about that today because we have experienced it in real time. The cost of being the strong one in our families, the cost of being the capable one, maybe even the rich one, maybe the most educated one, right? Like there are so many firsts that we have all experienced. Even being the oldest daughter, that dynamic shows up very strongly in our group as well. And so, listen, we're going to get into it, y'all. Today, we're going to talk about the real, okay? So if you
Let's
have,
do it.
yeah, so if you have questions as we're chatting, please, please put them in the chat. Okay, we got Deshelle. She's tuning in from Milwaukee. Oh my gosh. Deshelle is like my new favorite like business bestie on LinkedIn. Like we were able to connect. I think it was it earlier this week, last week? Anyway, I just love her spirit. And she is an incredible woman to know. So super glad to have you here with us today, Deshelle. Thank you for joining. And all right. And so anybody else that's tuning in, let us know you're here. Let us know you're here. We want to send you some love. All right. So ladies, listen. Now we done talked about this for probably a decade at least. But when you think about, high achieving women, where are you most seeing it in your work where they're highly capable, but it's either already turned in isolation or it's slowly, quietly turning into isolation? Let's start with you, Jamie. Like when you think about women who become so identified with being strong that she no longer feels comfortable asking for help, how does that show up?
Mm.
It's tough. It shows up in, as you said, in this ideology of I'm the person who has to do it. I've learned and decided in that identity, and so I've created an attachment to that identity. And not only am I creating an attachment to that identity, but I'm seeking out in my world, in my environment, things that prove that identity correct. So she is burned out, as we've talked about. She is isolated. She is oftentimes rejecting the examples of where people are actually looking to show up for her. So I may have the mentality that there's actually nobody who's ever there for me, but like actually last week my friend asked me to go out. Actually, the week before that, my mom called and I didn't answer her phone calls. Actually, 2 days before that, there was a coworker who said, "Hey, I would love to switch shifts with you." And even though I knew I was overwhelmed because I'm in my routine and I'm inside of my I need to do and I need to be and I need to show up, I actually didn't take the swap and I could have used the day off. So that there becomes this like this very clear narrative that she builds that supports the identity that she's formed. And we all do it, right? If I'm the provider type, I'm seeking and looking for the things that prove me right. That's what the brain does. It says, "Hey, Jeannie's got everything all together and she can do everything." Then that's what she's going to do. And I'm going to help and I'm going to support her in that. But when we say things to ourselves, like, actually, I love to have support and the people around me see me and want good things for me. And actually, everyone's always working to ensure that I can show up on time and show up well. These things, they begin to come to us. So, yeah, various things can be seen in the mind and psychologically when a woman has decided on that identity.
Ooh, okay. Now, listen, y'all will be taking a lot of deep breaths during this conversation today. Okay? I just want to warm y'all up for that. Okay, lots of deep breaths. Okay, we need that oxygen. All right. But one of the things that I think is super important, and I want y'all to be taking notes on, and I want to double tap on, is Jeannie's point that it is an identity.
Mm.
And when you think about it from that perspective, identities can be changed, but only if you are aware that it exists.
Mm.
Right? And so that is really kind of the linchpin in this entire thing, right? Like, have you really taken on that identity of I'm the strong one, I'm the capable one, I'm the savior, I'm the hero in this story? And what is that costing you? All right. So good. So good. Okay. So Tiana, we got somebody else. Casey. Hey, Casey's tuning in from Arkansas. Oh, I love it. Oh, and I love your picture, Casey. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. My goodness.
All right. So, Tiana, when we think about the cost of this, right, and how it shows up in our relationships, maybe in our homes, marriages, where do you see women becoming the strong one in ways that slowly actually maybe undermine the relationship or the support that maybe the relationship or the person in the relationship is trying to give?
Y'all ready for this? I have a lot to say about this, but I'm gonna try to zone it in. Okay. So the woman usually shows up, and I believe like this whole concept of like gender roles and who a woman is supposed to be, what she's supposed to take care of, and all of that has created this societal narrative of what we are supposed to do and how we're supposed to be, right? So she becomes, or she is the planner, the problem solver. She is the assistant. She's all these things, right? So when a woman becomes the strong one all the time, she unintentionally she removes the space for partnership, right? So she um, she fears asking for help because she's probably been let down so much, from really pretty much when you're weighted down, right? And you have all these things on your plate and you ask maybe a partner or a friend or someone to come in and help, because this could be in business, this could be in home, but you asked me specifically about the home. So we're going to talk about like partnerships, right? Within the home. And so let's just say the woman has taken on so much and the things are falling off her plate. And she asks her partner, hey, can you hold this for me? Or can you figure this out for me? And she's constantly told, no, I can't take that. Or maybe the person agrees, but they drop the ball, which can happen often as well.
Yeah.
And what she does is she picks it up, she handles it, she figures it out every single time. And the difficult part is the more capable she becomes, the less people show up. Right? Because they look at her as, oh, she don't need me. She don't need my help. And that's when the isolation creeps in. Because partnerships and relationships were never meant to be in isolation. They were meant to be doing things together. That's the whole point of partnership and relationship, right? So think of the idea of like shared responsibility, right? So let's put it in the context of washing dishes. So let's just say you're used to washing dishes. Everyone in the house have become comfortable with you being the one that wash dishes. So no one offers to help and you're just doing it. That's isolation, right? Partnership is I wash the dishes, you dry them. That's what partnerships look like. And it's also equivalent to cultivating relationship, because while we're washing, we're spending time, we're talking, we're laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're showing up for one another. So it's more than just doing a task. Like the task is washing dishes.
Right.
The holistic view of it is building partnership and relationship, right? So I think for women, we have to pause and really evaluate and reevaluate what we're carrying. And are we just carrying our things? Or are we picking up unnecessary things or things that we're not required or even asked to pick up? Because some things are just not life altering, right? If I walk past the shoe on the floor and it's not on the shoe rack, if I don't pick it up, is it going to destroy my day?
Oh,
More
yeah.
than likely not.
Right.
They're just freaking habits that you've picked up along the way because maybe you can't stand to look at it, but it's not going to kill you. However, if you could look at the nightstand and your husband has a heart condition and he has his pill is still sitting on the nightstand and you see it there and he was supposed to take it 5 hours ago, that's life altering.
Right.
So me as a partner, I'm going to step up and say, let me help this individual.
Yeah.
And let me help him save his life, because that's life altering. But for the most part, we as women, we are not picking up life altering tasks. Like we are picking up things that could really stay where they are. Right? And what we end up doing too is we end up, well, let me go to this. I mentor women all the time, and I'm always telling them to give back the mess that's not theirs. And I call it mess because when we pick too much of it up, our life become messy. Right. And so I always instruct them, give back what is not yours and take what is rightfully yours and handle that thing. And it's not saying don't help when help is needed. But I remember as a young mom having oh my God, I did everything. I cleaned the house, I cooked, and I did it happily in the beginning. And then after a while, it started to become weightful. It got frustrating. And then when I started asking for help, everybody looking at me like, me? Like, why you helping? Why you've been doing this for the last 5 years? Why are you helping me all of a sudden? Right? We have to learn that everything is not dire. Everything is not life or death. Some things can be put to the side. And guess what? It's frustrating to see the clothes on the floor, but it's not going to kill you. Right? And training our, one thing my husband used to tell me is, you do everything and you don't allow these kids a space to grow, pretty much, because you're not instructing them to do the things that they need to do to grow them into responsible adults. And at first I used to fight it like, well, if you pick up, then maybe we would be better, you know? And it's like, no, he's right. Like, it's not saying that he couldn't pick up more, but I do need to teach my children to pick up after themselves, so I'm not carrying that weight. And so I had to learn for myself that every fire is not mine to put out, and some fires are meant to burn long enough for someone else to see the smoke.
Well, we'll pass the offering, okay? Because that is
okay.
That's
it
the
needs
whole
to burn
word.
long enough for someone else to see that smoke.
That is the whole word. All right. So now you laid out a lot for us, but two of the things that I want to double tap on of your points are the fact that you mentioned how women keep picking up all of these things, right? And some of it's theirs, but much of it is not. And this ties into one of our points from last week's discussion, where we talked about how a lot of the high impact women that we see are saying that they want partnership. Maybe they desire, a lot of the young women that I mentor desire marriage and want to be, you know, wives and mothers. And what we talked about last week was, you're saying you want these things with your mouth, but the way that your life is set up, you don't have capacity for a partner. Why? Because you're carrying all of these other things that don't leave room for a significant other. And you're sending out the signal that I got this and I'm good. I don't need your help. So that can show up not just in interpersonal relationships or work. It can show up if you are seeking romantic partnership. Like that is really, really critical. The other thing that you mentioned that I think is really, really powerful is the coaching women on how to give the stuff back or give the mess back, right? That really ties into the common thread that we've been talking about since the top of the year, which is boundaries. That is directly connected to your boundaries. What is yours and what is not yours, and being very clear about that. And you can still be kind about how you communicate that, right? You don't have to blow up the relationship to communicate, you know, that you're done, you know, carrying their stuff and you'd like to hand it back to them. Will there be some smoke? Probably, because nobody likes change, right? Change can be really disorienting to people. However, in order for you to get to the place that you need to get to, that is going to be a necessary and required step. And what we know, right, in our work with high impact women is this is an area where support is needed. Do not try doing this on your own, because you probably have already been doing it on your own, right? And it's gotten you this far, right? But it's not going to get you to that next level. And so that's what we want you to be thinking of, being mindful of, as we continue to talk about the real cost associated with being the strong one. And so on that note, Jeannie, when you think about kind of some of those emotional patterns that you see in women who are always kind of the safe places for other people, but actually rarely feel safe themselves.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, those patterns look pretty detrimental. They tend to be women who have high anxiety, extremely high anxiety, moments where they have a lot of nervousness consistently, where they feel this sense of consistent hyper awareness and hypervigilance. Because what happens when you're always on is that ability to turn yourself off and to relax into yourself becomes frazzled, right? So I'm consistently feeling like, oh, I've got to be ready. I've got to be prepared. I've got to be on. So the body isn't able to rest, nor is the mind. So these are the women who they seem to be restless a lot of the time. Many of them, and especially in Black women, it can come off as irritability. They can experience heightened frustration consistently or agitation. Many of them also experience very it's unclear to them because not a lot of people recognize the signs and symptoms of depression, but they also experience high degrees of depression as well. In that there's a consistent powerlessness that takes place when you put yourself in the mentality that I should be able to create at this high functioning level all the time, then you get into these sort of burnout spaces. You don't account for them. And so your mentality is now, I'm useless. I'm not useful to the people around me in the ways that I used to be. So it like very sharply curves and these kind of downward spirals. Now, these are women who have been in these situations for protracted amounts of time. Like this is what we see from the beginning. You may be extremely adept initially. You may be really capable of carrying these things for short stints of time and oftentimes with respite of some sort. But usually you go back into the patterns if you continue them and you can carrying them. So it's pretty detrimental emotionally.
Ooh-wee. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are y'all clocking? Ain't that what the young folks say now? Are y'all
Yep.
clocking?
Clock
That, listen, we need y'all clocking it, okay? Because, whoo, baby, that is a tough one. And so even Jay, when you mentioned the depression and not like realizing that those signs,
Yeah.
and also the feeling of like feeling useless when you're not able to perform at that same like level.
Consistent. Yeah. It's
Yes,
not just performing every once in a while or showing up well. It's over time. Am I always hitting these markers? High functioning women have these intensely high standards where the way that they look at themselves and view themselves and because they've proved it, like let me not say that it like comes from
we've
from
proved
no
it.
basis. There's a basis for
Right.
this. Like I have proven it. I'm
Yeah,
a I'm a high six figures earner. I've managed a family, I've
yep,
did the high six figure earning while I built the family. Like
Family.
it's
yeah,
not that they haven't proved it, they have. They've
right.
come away from families that had extremely traumatic dynamics where they were at the forefront of keeping those families together. Like they have earned these
Yeah,
accolades, but they are not of the mindset that, like, at some point, those things that you utilize to come out of those spaces, that high
Mm.
functioning space that you were in previously, when you get into a place where I want to continue that and I want to continue thriving, it turns against you. It all works against you because you're
mm,
continuing to work in that very push we talked about this cycle before. I named it for us, right?
yeah,
It's this crash cycle that we get into, right? I'm going to push myself through, and then at some point I crash. Like I'm at my limit. I can't do anything more. That
yeah,
cycle just keeps continuing and continuing. So they perpetuate it over and over again. And it's very problematic because at some point, what it does is it whittled down the baseline mood. So where I've been able
mm,
to be really positive, I've been able to still come in very charismatic and happy. And, even though I'm taking on so much, I can still smile and feel connected. After a while, that stops. You get really frazzled. You start to become more irritable at baseline. You start to feel lower moods, less connection to the things around you. Maybe you're anhedonic, which means the things that used to give you pleasure and you used to feel really good about, you no longer do. It's a very harsh decline. And it can happen over time. For some women, though, if something really not so great happens, it can happen abruptly. But yeah, it's not great emotionally, not at all.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it sounds sneaky, right?
Always.
And one of the ways that I see this show up, honestly, day to day, and now that we're kind of coming out of winter and into spring,
Mm.
how I'm seeing this a lot right now with clients, but also with friends and family, is constant colds. They are constantly having sinus infections,
Mm.
allergy responses, headaches, or just cold, right? Or they're like, I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the seasons changing. Maybe it's, like, and they're totally missing the fact that they are operating beyond capacity and their body is signaling and probably has been signaling to them that they are beyond capacity. And so they just think, oh, it's just a regular, cold or whatever. But it becomes persistent. Like I had a colleague a couple years ago who would like get sick like every 2 to 3 months or so, right? And it would always be 3-4 days, like knocked out, right? And she just never made the connection. And I, it wasn't my business. So, I would ask curious questions, right, around it, but it was just kind of like, okay, girl, if you gonna keep running like that, okay, like go for it, right? But I know the cost of that. It is not sustainable and it's not good. There's nothing good on the other side of it. So I'm so glad that you raised that. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, we got some good folks in here. Okay, Dr. Kimberly. Hey, Dr. Kimberly. We got Dr. Bonita in the chat. Come on. Come on, my docs. My docs are showing up today. Okay, and then we got Miss Penny. Hey, girl. Listen, Penny, girl, you are a girl. We see you, Penny.
Every
week. Yes, I love it. So she says, I'm finding that as I age, my body is screaming that I cannot stay on that overachieving cycle. My body is no.
Yes.
Okay. Now listen, I told y'all this is my ease era. All right. And I hit it. I hit the ease era before I even hit it. Right? I've been talking about it for a few years. Right. But listen, I need some ease. Like nobody got time for that. Okay. Like I'm not interested in it anymore, right? Whereas before, I think it was fun, it was sexy in my 20s, right? I'm doing all the things, running circles around these fools, right? And now, I'm like, look, you can keep the circles. I'm chilling over here, okay? Like I'm not interested, okay? So yes, Penny, we are right there with you, girl.
Right no, it is. It's no longer a flex to be running yourself ragged. It's no longer a flex to be the woman who can be productive after zero sleep, after zero connecting with people in your life. It's no longer a flex. And I love how Dr. Kimberly Adams Tufts said, as a healthcare provider, hello, fellow, I used to advise women that you will receive help when you are open to accepting help.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again.
We should do a live about that.
Yes.
I don't know what we call it.
I love it. I love it.
We'll probably breeze right past it, but
ask and you shall receive.
Right? Yeah. We're gonna pin that down.
That one's very good. Yeah.
And then we got Michelle. She says, yes, this is literally killing us. We have got to drop the cake.
Yes.
Come on, burn the cake. Okay? Just burn the whole thing down. Don't listen. Don't save it. Don't stash it in the closet for later. Burn the whole thing down. Okay? Listen. We done with that. Okay. No, this is so good. This is so good. Okay. Let me see. Where are we at on time? Okay, we're running a couple minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna hit us with the last question. And let me see if I like this one or another one, because we've been getting some questions in. Okay, so which one is good? Let's see. Okay. Let's talk about this. What are most women most often holding that was never meant to be actually carried along? So, Tiana, let's jump to you. What responsibilities do you see most often with women absorbing in relationships that actually should be shared?
So you have the obvious, right? So you have the obvious things that we can see. Mm-hmm. So that's like, she's taking care of kids, she's running back and forth, she's running businesses, she's in corporate America, she's doing the grocery shopping, she's doing the laundry, she's cleaning the home, like all of these physical things that we can see with our eyes. But then there's this invisible load that no one sees, that's up here, right? So it is the mental and emotional weight of everything, the managing the household, the keeping track of schedules, the anticipation of needs of those people around her other than herself, right? So she's holding like the emotional temperature of everybody and everything around her, right? Making sure that everyone is cool and okay, right? Yeah. So the invisible loads were really never meant to be carried along. So I like this topic because I like to go here, because I feel like when it comes to the conversation of men and women or gender, people always like to bring up the biblical, where women are like helpmates and all these things, right? And so I always like to dig into that. So I said, let's go there. Let's go into that. Let's dig a little deeper into that, right? So when we think about traditional roles, and I believe that women, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I believe that women have accepted and received this role, and now we're trying to fight our way out of it. Because we realize that it's not really the alignment that was meant for us to have. And we realize that it's just freaking not healthy.
Yeah.
Period, right?
Yeah.
So if we go into this traditional thing, right, of the biblical role of being this helpmate, the woman that comes in and does everything, that's society's, view of it, right? In the beginning, when God created Adam, Eve didn't even exist yet. But Adam was given roles. He was given tasks. He was given tasks, right? He was given the duty to nurture, which is what many of us step in and do for everybody, and we do it for everything, right? Yeah. He was given the duty to nurture. So he had to do the animals and the plants and cultivating the land and all of these tasks that God gave him, right? Only when he seen him alone did he say, it's not good for man to be alone, right? So he created Eve, right? What that says is partnership. That does not equate to doing things alone by yourself as an individual. He saw that we needed others to help us navigate life and to be whole, essentially, individually whole. Right. Yeah. And so in relationships, I see women absorbing responsibility for things like communication, conflict resolution, all these things. And they're the ones initiating like the hard conversations, checking in, fixing what feels off, and doing the emotional labor to keep everything connected when that's a shared responsibility. And over time, that creates imbalance. Right. And it was never
it also creates divorce. Okay.
Well, let's go there then.
That part.
Okay. So it creates divorce, and not just divorce with your partner, but divorce with the relationships within your family dynamic too. Right. So it can be a broken relationship with your mother, with your siblings, with your children, and all of that, all due to the lack of planning and really assessing what is properly yours or safely yours, because people are dying every day from just not managing this well.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the level of seriousness that we're at. Like, we need to be serious about really taking this approach. And it looks like difficult conversations. And women need to know too that it's okay to change your mind.
Come on.
Like, what I thought would work 10 years ago ain't working for me no more. It's just not working at year 15. It's not working for me anymore. Let's sit down. Let's talk about what this looked like moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, this is difficult for you to take in because you're used to being able to chill with your feet up and to everything under control. I get it. It's going to be tough. It's tough for me too. But we're going to have to both deal with our toughness and grow from this.
Yeah, I love that.
Figure out how we could come into agreement so that we can be partners in this.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, ladies. So recognize, right, where your limits are, but then also have those courageous conversations so that you can express your needs in real time. And then lastly, being okay with understanding that it's okay to change. It is okay, right? If you're still allowing the same things in your relationships that you were 7 years ago, because the data suggests that every 7 years you actually should be recycling or renegotiating the terms of your relationships, because God's intention for us is growth. Okay. So you should be always growing and evolving and changing. And so the data backs that up, right? I want to say it's like approximately every 7 years that cycle is supposed to happen in your life, right? And so if you still have the same needs, the same expectations, you're still carrying the same load in the same way every 7 years that roll around, something is wrong. something is wrong, right? Not necessarily with you, but something is wrong with the dynamics. And that is what we are inviting you to take a deeper look into, right? And not in judgment, but in curiosity, okay? What here is no longer working for me, and what do I need to do, right, to readjust? Okay, we got some more comments coming through. All right, well, we got Talana, Penny said that's some real grown woman talk. Yeah, that courageous conversation after changing is the bar, right? Sometimes folks just throwing away the entire relationship. Yes, Penny. Yes, 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 and yes. And we talk about this a lot in our internal girl group, right? Of, you know, sometimes you just have to renegotiate the terms. It doesn't mean that you have to throw the relationship away or throw the person away, right? Like, that is something that I feel very, very passionate about, right? I'm not for throwing people away. Like, if I love you, if I ever loved you, I'm always going to love you, right? I may have to readjust what centric circle you are a part of, you know, that is my life, right? Yeah. But I am not ever going to be like, oh my gosh, I hate you, never talk to me again, right? Even if you do me dirty, right? Like, and I've had some people do that, right? It is what it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's still going to be love with me, but you may not get as much access to me as
absolutely
you, right? You may not get a text back, right? Like, and it just is what it is, right? So I think that the way that we make sure that we have the support that we need as we embark on being the strong one, right? And that is making sure those relationships are reevaluated, making sure that we go back and we are honest about what we actually need, and that we're courageous in sharing when those needs change, and give people the opportunity to meet those needs. Okay.
I want to.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
We just have some questions that are coming in on Instagram as well, so I want to make sure that we get to them. Yeah. So I think we have. This is actually from a male participant.
Let's do it.
What do you think the change should be for someone who doesn't know after the 7-year mark?
Like after 7 years, the person doesn't realize that they should be growing.
I think that's exactly it.
So it depends on the type of relationship, I would say, too. So I'm just going to assume maybe he's talking about marriage. The thing that I always tell
people. Yes,
he said
yes.
Okay. So the things that I always communicate is that marriage is just it's work, and we get comfortable in it, and change is like one of those things that's just like pulling teeth within a marriage dynamic, because we hold on to the idea that our spouse is supposed to stay who they are in the moment that you met them, and you don't allow them space to evolve, right? Yeah. And so for me, I always would I would advise to have the conversation of bringing in a third party that can help them navigate, because sometimes your voice is not the voice that's going to get them to move.
Yeah. Sometimes not. And sometimes, you know, and I get that you might think that you don't have a realization. And this is a part of, I don't know if this if you're talking from the vantage point of your wife or if you're talking from your own vantage point, but just so you're aware, we were talking about women here and talking about how there can be this suppression that takes place on their part. That's what I was talking about, where they're carrying mental loads that they're not making other people aware of, that maybe they themselves don't even have the recognition that they're doing alone. But there's a lot in women that's about, I don't want to be too difficult. I don't want to be too much. I am the person who is responsible inside of my household for managing everybody's feelings constantly all the time. And so I'm exhausted in that. I would challenge you, if this is about your wife, to note from her what are the things that she actually does to support herself. If you've seen that in all these years that you've been together, she tends to always put family first, I got to tell you, that's a suppression. That's a suppression. Every person has their own individual needs. When you find that someone is consistently pushing the line, toting the line all the time, and that their work is constantly about always the collective, and there's no focus on themselves, I would say at that 7-year mark, they should probably be looking at that. And the same with you. If you found you're consistently comfortable, you're always comfortable, your needs are just consistently met, Like dinner is on the table. You're not asking about it. The kids
Right.
are consistently managed and everything is always planned for them. And you don't have to know what are their teachers' names or what do they eat for lunch or what's their favorite dinners, or what's their favorite snacks. You're not thinking about all those things because wifey has all that stuff cut up and done and moved for you. That's a problem with how you're showing up as well. Maybe you need to show up more involved. Maybe you need to develop a parenting style. Just start to look first within, obviously, at what in yourself is like, these are things that I know are coming up for me, things that I know that I'm thinking about, whether I am right or I am wrong. They are things that are coming up that I am not sharing. That is suppression. So just eliminate the suppression. Many times that helps us to understand the ways we're looking to grow.
Jeannie,
I hope
would
that
you
makes sense.
say,
That's
just,
beautiful.
I have a quick question for Jeannie. Would you say that we tend to enter relationships with our own ideals of how things should go, right? Instead of coming together and formalizing what we do versus what I do and you do.
Absolutely. And this is why counseling, many times pre-counseling before you even come into your marriage is such an asset because you can come together and you have a real understanding about the individual evaluations of each person, right? We've gotten a sense of what am I bringing into the table? What are my hallmarks? What are my attachment styles? What
Yeah.
do I developmentally understand to be the pivotal anchors of relationships? And what do you understand those things to be? What are places where I have a I don't want to be where I can't necessarily see well, like my peripherals. I have that space where you can't see. What are those for me? What are those for you? We come together, we learn those, and then we develop a style together that suits both of us. And we recognize also in that style that there are going to be some things where I'm like, actually, can we take lead this way? Can we take lead my way? There are traditions in my family that mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
Is this something I can have dominion over? Is that okay? You do know that's okay in relationships, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes your husband can have dominion over certain parts of your life, and sometimes you can have dominion over certain parts of your life. Why? Because he's just better at them, or because you're just better at them. It
Yeah.
is okay. We get into you were talking to Lana, and I loved it. All these gender roles, right? This like
Yeah.
huge arguments about what is conforming and what does it mean to like live inside these roles. I think when you live inside them highly rigidly, you struggle. When you understand that there's got to be flexibility in them and that relationships require you to be flexible and to be looking on at like what is actually working versus what is not working. I think you tend to do so much better in relationships. As someone who's been in relationships, is married, engaged now, it's a lot to take on. So,
And it
I hope
requires a
they
lot of
answered your question.
negotiation. It requires a lot of negotiation
It
too.
does.
I think people, women, I think a lot of times, like you said, it's like you don't want to be too much. I call it being a shrinking woman, right? Because you deny, you deny those things about yourself that are important for your partner to know. And so, my husband and I do some premarital counseling and newlywed counseling, and we always tell couples, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And there is a skill to negotiation when you use that skill in every scenario. You actually don't, I don't just use it in marriage, I use it in my business all the time. Right. But in that way, and the reason why I feel so passionate about it is because in negotiation, you don't have a loser. Right. Both people are conceding, they're using wisdom to find common ground. Whereas in a compromise, somebody's losing. Right. Feeling like a loser, right? Like, and I ain't trying to give, and sometimes I ain't trying to get real, and sometimes I ain't trying to give up nothing, right? Like that's just what it is. So I think it's super important. I'm just keeping it real, all right?
I love that. Lynn Harris said, and it is all different over 50.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Over
Listen,
50.
when you continue in those marriages over 50.
Hey, yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Okay. Now we done got into marriage stuff. Okay, so let's bring it back. We got to wrap it up because we've covered all the cost. All right. We talked about a lot of the cost of being the strong one. Let's see. Dr. Kimberly says, Jeannie, those insights are very deep about the suppression. That is, and oh man, Jesus. One of the things that I think is super important, thank you, Dr. Kimberly, for raising that, because one of the things that I do think is critically important for women to know is that many times suppression leads to autoimmune diseases. It leads to disease is dis-ease in your body. And when you betray yourself by not telling the truth about who you are and what you desire, you are suppressing your life force, which is who God called you to be. And when you deny that, you suffer every time. And it shows up as cancers. It shows up as I have a couple of clients actually that have fibromyalgia.
Lupus.
Yes, right. And so these autoimmune diseases are real, and they are often heavily associated with women because women culturally and really communally, so societally, are trained to suppress and to shrink and to go inside of themselves, right? To not be seen, to not use their voices, right? And that is, we know all of that to be true because we live in America, okay? And we're not even gonna argue about none of the facts, all right? Because the data doesn't lie. The reality is, listen, I'm never arguing about the data, okay? But the reality though is that when we do that, we punish ourselves. And so suppression is really a big thing. It really is, even when you may not think it is. It's a real big thing. And it's important that you recognize it and that you get some support to work through it, because it's normal, because we are conditioned to be that way. But the beautiful thing about how God created us is that we also have the ability to recreate ourselves and to reprogram our minds and our bodies and our nervous systems to be able to show up in the fullness of who He created us to be. And so I really want people to lean into that. Okay, we got another comment. Ross, hey, Ross. All right, Ross says, and relationship partners need to be flexible and accept that needs and roles are ever changing. And that's why we need to approach relationships with a partnership plan. Okay.
That's right.
I like that term, partnership plan. Okay, y'all.
Partnership plan.
Take some advice from Miss Roz and get y'all a partnership plan. Okay. Okay. So as we wrap up, ladies, in one sentence, what do you want a high achieving woman to remember if she is tired of always being the strong one? What do you want her to remember?
Mine is very simple and straight to the point.
Okay.
Just because it needs to get done doesn't mean it all has to be done by you.
Come on.
Period.
Lock it.
Yeah, I think mine is, I'm going to stay on that latter part of the conversation, and it is just that, strength does not equal suppression. Recognizing, I want the women who are high impact to recognize that there are parts of themselves that they are suppressing when they are telling themselves, and they're creating these internal rules that, my thing to carry is being too much, or I don't want to be difficult, and so I'm going to do it, or I can keep all of this together, so I'm not going to seek help from other people. I'm not going to allow. That is suppression, deep suppression of self. Strength is understanding your resources, being efficient in utilizing those resources, and being comfortable at all times, and allowing for others to show up for you so that they can practice care, they can practice connection, because that's what true shared nurturing and shared governance really is.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
How about you, T? What do you think, Doc?
What's yours, Dr. T?
What I want you to remember. What I want you to remember is that strength does not have to equate to sacrifice and suffering. And you can be strong in, all the ways, right? However, it does not mean that you have to suffer or be the sacrifice. You are not the sacrifice. And when you show up in that, like Jeannie just mentioned, you can really stifle other people's growth.
Yes.
Allow them to show up in the fullness of who they are, right?
Yes.
And so that's super important. And if you are a leader, right? Many of my clients are highly respected, high leadership, high visible leaders in their workplaces, and or in their businesses. And that is a really important thing to think about and to remember, because your role as a leader is to model the way and set the standard and invite other people to come to that standard and to that level, right? When you are doing all the things and being the strong one, I think of it as the women who always talk about being a boss, right? They boss babes, they do all the boss things, right? I'm not a boss. I'm nobody's boss. I never want to be anybody's boss, because a boss is in charge of other people. And as a leader, you are not in charge of anybody but yourself. And so you are, again, setting that standard and inviting people to meet that standard. And every time that I've done it, they always rise to the occasion. People, we are magnificent human beings. We are brilliant. We are capable and resilient. And when you set the standard, they will meet it. And so I would invite you, right, if you are tired of being the strong one, to save this, save this discussion, subscribe, reshare, like, all the things, okay? Because it's gonna bless you, okay? Come back and rewatch it as many times as you need to. And reach out to us if you have specific questions. You know, that is really what we're here for, to support you all as you experiment with new ways of thinking and being, and even as you maybe even digest some of these new awarenesses that you're coming into, because that can even be like super scary to come into this awareness and then not be sure what to do about it. Right. And so what I don't want you to do is to sit and spin in shame, because nothing that we ever share is about shame or blame. It is simply about taking an honest look at where you are compared to where you'd hope to be. And it is an invitation for you to return to yourself and get the support that you desire and deserve to get there. All right. So that's all I got. That's all we got for y'all today. All right. We way over time today, but we really, and we may even make this a second conversation, because I do really see so many high impact, strong women. I have meetings with clients every single day almost, and I'm hearing the same things, right? They're tired, they're exhausted, their confidence is being shaken and it's dwindling because they are tired of enduring, right? And anyone can go through hardship, but when there's no definitive beginning and end, it gets really tiring and exhausting. And so that is where you see burnout. And so we are really wanting to invite more women into this space, because we do not believe that success should cost you your life, period. So we're wanting you to step back into that, return to yourself, live the life that you have always desired and deserved. And so listen, you're wealthy and worthy already. All right. So we're going to see y'all next week. Same place, same time. And, and we hope y'all have the best week. All right. Bye.
Bye.